Hello.
Most of what we call love is actually abandonment, self-abandonment in disguise.
Yes.
I need to mute myself here. Okay, there we go. If your boundaries only show up after you're overwhelmed, that's not love. That's survival. And the truth is, you don't struggle with boundaries. You struggle with feeling safe enough to be seen. Hmm.
Absolutely.
Welcome to the Coming Home to You Sparkcast, where joy is medicine, healing is sacred, and remembrance is your superpower. This sanctuary, this is a space, this space is a sanctuary, not for perfection, as you can see, but for truth and presence. And this month, we've been talking about boundaries as love in the mind, body, and soul. And I've been living this in real time, in motherhood, in my marriage, in my life, and in moments where I could feel my body say one thing and my voice say another. And what I'm realizing is this: boundaries aren't something we say, there's something we feel, we honor, and we choose. So today we're exploring the boundaries as love in the Trinity of Truth episode through the lens of the mind, body, and soul. And joining me here today is my buddy, my friend, my confidant, Filza Jabin, and she is someone who deeply lives the work. She supports women, parents, especially those with ADHD, and she helps them to feel seen, heard, and safe to be who they truly are. So I'm really honored to welcome back Filza to the show. I'm so happy to have you here. Welcome to the Trinity of Truth.
Thank you, Margarita. Thank you for having me here. I'm really grateful to be here with you again.
Hmm. I'm excited for where this conversation is going to take us. Because I think boundaries as love has really been showing up so much for me this month. So buckle in, everybody, grab your cafecito, okay? And turn off your distractions. This is not the episode that you want to miss. So let's start here with the mind, okay? When you hear boundaries as love, what does that mean to you right now?
Okay, first of all, the word boundaries in our society has been taken as a negative word, which is not true. This is the only pathway we can take towards growth. While I was choosing this word of the year, which is growth, and the answer was, how can I grow myself in each and every areas of my life? And that was through boundaries. And honestly, it's a journey to understand how am I going to create those boundaries around me and around my loved ones so that we all can grow. When we hear the word boundaries and love, most of the time we think that it's not going to go together.
Mhm.
But that's not true. Whenever you're choosing love, you get to know that where do I need to put the boundaries around so that I can love deeply, not on the
Mm.
surface, but love deeply so that I can grow, my partner can grow. And who's that partner? You are my partner. My husband is my partner. My kids are my partner. My friends are my partner, right? And at the same time, I honor myself, I respect myself and my feeling. And there I choose to create boundaries for myself and my loved ones so that we all can grow.
Can you share with us a real moment that showed up for you recently?
Yes, sure. So let me give you an example of my uh, husband because he's the closest one in my life. So when he is telling me to be something or do something. If I am going with the flow, the old me was always going with the flow, listening to him and doing in abundance, like I was doing everything. Yet there was a feeling that I am doing so much, but why is he not acknowledging that? Why is he not seeing that? Why?
Mm.
That was a feeling inside me,
Just like
right?
me.
And when I asked myself, why is this happening? Being in the work of leadership, how am I being in this relationship? So my coach coached me and made me see how I am being there and unable to put the boundaries out. And I was trying to please him, was trying to like make him happy without creating that boundary. And that was a fear inside me, which was telling me that I might lose him if I will not
Mm.
say 100% yes to whatever he says. And I started learning how to create boundaries. And trust me, he is listening more. He
Mm.
is putting his attention to my words and he's understanding me more and more. And our relationship is growing because
Mm.
that's making me feel seen and heard, and he's accepting it,
Mm. How
you
does this
know
show up differently for women or moms with ADHD?
well, that when you talk about people with ADHD, there's a lot of lack of confidence in them,
Mm.
feeling of not seen, not heard, lack of skills, maybe I'm not enough. That's the feeling which I've acknowledged a lot in them. Now, when they are with that feeling, they are unable to create that boundaries. They are unable to say no. They are overwhelming themselves by taking too much, by saying yes, ending up people pleasing. I'm not saying
Because
people
is it
pleasing is
coming out of fear of being
yes,
abandoned or not
sometimes.
enough, like you said?
Yes, yes. Sometimes it is like unless I do everything, I need to show up more. I need to show up more and more. And there is a time when they are so overwhelmed that they are unable to perform for even for themselves.
Mm.
And they start feeling that maybe I'm not appropriate, I'm not made for this work, I'm not good enough, right? Others are better than me. Others can do things better. And there is a tag called ADHD on my head, and I need to carry it as a sack on my back, and I can't do enough for
Mm.
myself and for others. That's how it is showing up in them, through lack of confidence, and they are burdening themselves. The moment they learn to create boundaries around them and learn to say no and set appropriate boundaries for themselves, when to stop, there's where they learn how to gear up their life
Mm.
to go on fifth gear and do everything, because ADHD is always a power. It's always a power. I have experienced that in my whole life because I have energy in abundance. I am very much energetic. The moment I'm doubting myself and I'm comparing myself with others and I am overburdening myself with a lot of work, I'm very less progressive. I'm really less productive. And when I'm understanding when to say no and how to create boundaries, I'm loving myself. I'm
Mm.
acknowledging each and every part of mine, and I'm moving forward consciously, accepting things consciously, right? Saying yes to things around me consciously. And that's huge. That's a very big example of boundaries with love. The moment I started loving myself, I decided to create those boundaries around me so that first I can see myself and my strength, and then only I can serve to the world around me, including my children and my husband. If I don't know anything and still I'm promising a lot, that means I'm coming from the place of lack and that's not going to grow. When I'm
Mm.
coming from the place of abundance, I'm going to grow and glow. You know, that's
I
what I've
love that, grow
experienced in
and
my
glow.
life.
Yeah, something that you
Yes.
said that stood out so much because I resonated and related to it was when you started to love yourself. You were able to create
Mhm.
these boundaries. And in the beginning, for me, there
Absolutely.
was a lot of there sometimes for me what comes up is guilt, especially around my kids and my relationship, because I taught my husband how to
Yeah.
treat me for 26 years. So what does guilt sound like in your mind when you try setting a boundary for the first time or when you're first starting?
Okay, maybe I'm not a good person, and maybe I'm not doing right. Maybe my God will not be pleased with me.
Mhm.
That was just the programming which was going on in my mind. The moment I'm loving my husband, my kids, and my friends and families, I get to create that boundaries so that I can see them growing as well. That's one thing. And when I started this journey, it was giving me so much of guilt that I'm not doing right. Maybe I'm not using the resources I have. That's my strength, or I can do this. I still have some energy left to work a little bit more. I should have done that. I had sleepless night because of those feeling that maybe I'm not doing this right by creating this boundary around me, right?
Mm.
But that only led me to a loop of accepting again and not creating conscious boundaries.
Conscious
The moment I
boundaries.
removed the moment I removed all those guilt around my decisions, I started creating boundaries consciously and understanding in a way that if I'm not doing something for my kids, they are doing it themselves. They're learning, they're growing. And what are the prices I'm paying? The prices I'm paying is like my kids will be independent, they will have voice, they will be strong and confident, and they will not follow what I want them to do. Am I ready to pay those prices? Yes, I'm ready. Yes, I'm
Yes.
ready because I want to create them. I want to, I want to raise them. Sorry for using wrong word, creating. I want to raise them strong and confident and self-regulating. Today only I was talking to my sister about how to raise a self-regulating kid where I don't have to remind them what to do.
Yes.
You know, one night it started raining and all my dried up clothes were there in my balcony, and in my sleep I was just thinking like maybe my clothes are all wet by now. I cannot go and pick them up now. Maybe I'll see in the morning a wet cloth. But you know what? When I woke up next morning, I saw all my clothes were kept nicely inside the room. And who kept that? My kids. They did it. And who reminded them? Nobody. Nobody reminded them. It was raining. They saw in their sleep. They understood that clothes are outside, I need to bring them inside. So nobody reminded them. So they are regulating themselves. And how am I going to raise a self regulating kid? Is just by creating boundaries around my loves. If I have so much of love and with me being a mother, I love them and I want to pour everything on them. The moment I hold it back and let them learn and not do it for them, guess what is happening? I'm not stealing their opportunity to learn
Yeah.
and grow and be confident and regulate themselves, right?
They become
And that
self-sufficient and resilient. Yeah. And resourceful.
absolutely, and
That's
resourceful.
beautiful. So let's bring it to the
Yes.
body. Okay. So let's go that layer beneath the mind into the body. Oftentimes the mind is always thinking and meaning, making meaning about things, but we don't often drop into our heart and our body to really feel and hear what it's the message is telling us. So before there's words, before there's even explanation, how does your body let you know when a boundary either has been crossed or not honored?
Okay, first of all, whenever I'm feeling anything in my body, my foot are talking to me. I go and see my foot consciously. How is my foot reacting? I hold my toes really tight.
Mm-hmm.
I hold my toes really tight when something is not going good, or I am in hurry, or I have taken too much on me. I've taken too much burden on me. My foots are holding it. My toes are holding it really tight. That's how my body is reacting. So I go and notice and relax my toes, and I re-promise to myself to take care of myself and see why am I overcommitting? Why am I overburdening myself? What's the reason behind it? That's the window where I get to communicate to myself so that I can check how come I am still not listening to my body. And I say thank you and I say sorry and I move forward. And I move forward by re-promising and uh, you know, understanding it again, that how my body is always giving me signals, signs, and signals. And that's where I need to see and honor my body and the reactions, because that's a nervous system reaction of me overcommitting without even knowing my skills. Because honestly, I'm still learning how to create boundaries, because there's always a new situation, there's always new scenario. And being a human, I'm a human being, I get confused and I overburden myself, and my body never forget to remind me. So I always tell people, listen to your body. You always keep scanning it, keep seeing yourself, ground yourself, and see what is your body trying to tell you, right?
What is one way that you ground yourself in that moment of when, because I didn't know that my body used to speak to me, even though like I could feel the tightness in my chest or the heat rising, or I could feel myself just like feeling like I just want to run away or fight. And um that was a moment where now I'm learning to pause, to take a deep breath, go for a walk, or put a pin on the conversation and be like, hey, listen, I'm noticing myself being triggered or overstimulated right now. I need to like come back when I'm regulated and we can have this conversation. So like how do you ground yourself, and how are you able to come back to your body and then be able to create the boundary? Because sometimes in that moment we're not able to really create a boundary and be like, because energy doesn't lie. And if we're speaking from a dysregulated place, it's not going to land the way we want. So how do you ground yourself?
So I can completely relate to you, as you said that sometimes we just want to shut down and we just want to wait for a moment so that we can regulate our emotions, right? So I basically I go and check my breath. There's a word in ADHD, we use it, which is hyper focus. Whenever I am doing something which is very much interesting, sometimes I hold my breath and I do it nicely. That's the position where I'm in the flow situation. Still I need to check my body. I get to check my body and take a deep breath, because that's the way I can start noticing and grounding myself in the moment. Even things are not going according to me or going according to me, I go and check my breath, whether I'm shallow breathing or I'm relaxed, or am I holding my breath for 4 to 5 seconds and trying to understand the situation, right? And I give myself time. I ask my partners, especially my husband, to give me some time to regulate my emotions, because it's sometimes it's very hard. I don't know why things are happening, you know,
And that's
to,
a boundary within itself, isn't it?
yes,
That's a boundary within
exactly.
itself, saying, hey, I'm not available for this conversation right now because I want to connect and I don't
Yes,
feel
yes.
like I'm even in my body. That's
And
powerful.
I feel better. And I feel better. And I feel better when I ask for that, because I see my partner is also giving me time and they also understand. And my kids also, they also understand, okay, maybe she needs some time right now. And they start asking for it too, especially my daughter. My daughter,
And
because
that's self-regulation. You're teaching them self-regulation in that moment instead of her like yelling back and giving you attitude or screaming and elevating and escalating because you've
absolutely.
been modeling it for them. No,
Yes,
because
absolutely.
I've noticed that I could sit here and be like, blah, 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 give all the instructions, give all the, just say it with my mouth, but they're, in the end, they're going to copy what I'm doing. They're going to
Mm,
model what
absolutely.
I'm doing. And, like, we're gonna have to get on a phone call after to see how tell me how you're doing it because I'm struggling with my daughter. I struggle with my because she's just like me, and she mirrors back to me the same energy, and I mirror back to
Mhm.
her. So like yes, boundaries as love in the body is where it starts for me, and that because first I'm making it mean she's being disrespectful, right? Or she's being bratty or entitled. My husband's always saying like, I'm not raising an entitled brat. Like, where you get this entitlement from? So, like, how how did your children respond to you when you were learning how to create those boundaries, when you were starting to fall in love with yourself enough to create boundaries that were loving as love?
If you talk about my kids, they are very much okay with it, because they know how this is normal for them. If somebody is dysregulated, they need some time, they need to spend some time alone so that they can regulate their emotions. And when I started creating boundaries around my support, where I was supporting them, they reacted, especially my eldest son. He reacted so badly that he was not talking to me. He was not listening to me for a while. And later on, when I communicated with him and I told him, this is how you're going to learn how to do your things on your own, and you're going to be powerful, you're going to be strong and confident this way. Later on, he understood. He understood that I was right. But that was the power struggle I had to face. I had to, you know, pay those prices to make him strong and confident. Now he is 16 and he is understanding and he knows so many things about self-regulation and how to regulate emotions and what should we do when we are overwhelmed or angry or upset. How are we, instead of reacting, we need to talk or we need to take a deep breath. It's not that he's not reacting. Yes, he is. Last week we went for a movie and on the way he started, he getting angry on something, and I was calmly trying to regulate his emotions. And while we were almost near to our home, he said, Mama, can you please tell me, why are you not angry? I'm shouting at you. I'm telling you so many things, but why are you not reacting to that? Why didn't you get angry? And I told him that I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to understand what are you trying to communicate through your anger. Why are you so stressed?
And I also hear that you didn't make it about you in that moment because you
Yes,
understood he was dysregulated.
yes,
That's
and he was
leadership right there.
dysregulated. Yes, and he was dysregulated because of his exam pressure.
Mm.
Because we went for a movie and he had to study, and very next day he is going to appear for exam, and he was pressurized because of that, and I understood that. So most of the time we don't know why kids are dysregulated, why they are behaving the way they are behaving. Over there, I invite parents, I tell them just to calm down and relax and just try to see what are they trying to say. Not the words, but the emotions are very important.
Mm. So when you
Emotions are
honor
very
that,
important.
Yeah, questions are great. I remember our trainer saying, I don't have the answers, I just have really good questions. Because we do have the answers
Yes.
within us.
Yes.
If we can just pause long enough and regulate ourselves long enough to look, we have the answers. We all have the
Yeah.
answers. So when you start to honor listening to your body, pausing, taking a breath, creating those boundaries with love, and when you choose boundaries as love, what shifts, not just for you, but in your relationships and your family and or your identity even? I know you spoke about that a little bit, but is there any more that you can go a little deeper with us about?
Yes, sure. Why not? Because that's how I have started gaining all the relationships back.
Mm,
Relationship was right there. I was just burdening myself, overburdening myself with them. I have to carry this relationship. I have to carry a relationship with my mother. I have to carry a relationship with my husband and my kids because I get to be a good girl and I get to fit in. I get to, this is the normal thing which girls are supposed to do, to say yes all the time and to be there for everyone, not to say no, all those things. But the moment I started creating boundaries and started communicating about my own need and dreams and desires and how am I feeling, I'm feeling angry or frustrated, I'm not liking what others are saying, something, the moment I started voicing my own emotions and needs, my relationships are like, treat for me. My relationships started becoming really, strong, because there's where I started loving my mom. I started, loving my husband. Like, I was loving, but this is where I am enjoying these relationship. I'm living with these relationship. I want more of this relationship. I want, like, if I am just raising three kids, I have to finish it. No, I am living each and every moment because I am regulated. I'm happy. I'm trying to find joy in each and everything. I am feeling joyful because I know when to say no. I know that am I supposed to commit and what am I supposed to delegate? What am I supposed to
mm.
say? When am I supposed to say no? Right?
I love that because what's been showing up for me recently, like sometimes I don't know when to say no, or sometimes I say no when I should be saying yes, and vice versa, because there is so much of trying to keep the peace and like maybe if I just do more of this, maybe if I show up differently, maybe if I work harder, they'll finally choose me, they'll love me, they'll see me. But I didn't realize that what I was doing in that moment was abandoning myself.
Yes.
And then I wanted to call it boundaries or I wanted to call it love, but it was actually fear. Fear of being not enough and not being chosen or being abandoned. Um, so like I felt like that false identity started to slowly fade away. And I still sometimes choose from that space because it's like, what have you experienced during your journey as you're creating boundaries as love and also building a business and um, I guess maybe rediscovering the truth of who you are and what you want and what you need? Like how has life shifted and just the way that you show up for yourself?
Wow, that's a
With
great
boundaries.
question. I really love that because this is how I came to know that everything is possible. I can be a good mom, I can be a good wife, and a business holder. You know, I can be everything I want if I know when and how can I create boundaries around me. And at the same time, I can feel loved by myself and others around me. They love me even if I'm working. Like, there are sometimes I am on call, or I am coaching, like overnight coaching. I'm getting those support from my family without even asking for it because they know what she is doing. You know, this is how it showed up in my life. The moment we come to know that how and when to create those boundaries, our loved ones, our kids, will come and support you. That's how you can make it possible for yourself. Like, you can be anything and everything you want if only you know when to say yes and when to say no, how much to commit and how much to let go. And
Mm.
it's
What do you
completely okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
what do you think your
completely
children
okay.
are learning? What do you think your children are learning in those moments when they're witnessing you creating boundaries and loving yourself and knowing that you can love and be all these things and choose yourself? What do you think they're learning in that moment?
One thing for sure they're learning is, let's try this. Instead of it's very hard, let
Mm,
me try this. This is the word I've been telling myself whole my life. Like, let me try this. Let me try this. I shifted from it's very hard for me. I can't. Now I'm seeing that they are learning, let me try this. Let me try this. And this is how they are opening the door of opportunity in their life without overburdening themselves. You know,
mm,
when you are when you are feeling to like willing to teach your kids courage, as a mother, what you need to do is learn to love yourself and learn to create appropriate boundaries in your relationships and in your life, even in your
mm,
choices. When we learn how to create those boundaries, you're automatically raising a confident and courageous kids around you. When you say no, you need a lot of courage. What are the prices you're going to pay for saying this no? Well, I'm ready to pay any prices because I'm confident in this field. Nothing is going to happen. Just let go of this opportunity because this is not the right time. That's my no for my own love to myself, which was not happening earlier in my life. Now, where I am learning how to create boundaries and I am, you know, creating a ripple effect of it on my children.
mhm.
That's how they are showing up in their own life, right?
Wow, this has been such a beautiful, powerful conversation, Filza. It's always so beautiful to have you and to speak with you. You're just so much wisdom and so much growth that you just embody, and it's such a beautiful way to start my day today, talking to you about boundaries as love, because I feel so much true love, like compassion that emanates from you. And I think it started with you believing that you you get to have compassion for yourself first. And that's what I'm hearing coming
Absolutely.
through that. Because I remember,
Absolutely.
it's if this is showing up for us, everybody, I mean, it must be showing up for you too, because she's just like me, and I'm just like
Absolutely.
you, and you're probably just like
Absolutely.
me, and you're probably just like her. So I just want to invite you into this moment right now and ask yourself, where are you saying yes? Even when your body is asking for space
Hmm.
or for love or for boundaries.
And what is making you scared?
What is
What
making you
is making,
scared? What am I
and
afraid
what,
will happen if I choose
yes,
myself? And I love what you
yes.
talked about, the prices. And thank you for reminding me and grounding me back on like the prices that I'm willing to pay. Because you have to be really grounded on knowing like, yeah, I'm willing to be judged. I'm willing to pay the price of being judged or criticized or being hurt or dismissed. Those are all great things when I'm speaking my truth, when I'm shining in my light, when I'm choosing myself and in my truth, right? And in my boundaries. So, like, I love that you really just kind of grounded us back into the importance of learning to love yourself first, self-regulating, right? Like listening to your body is it like I love that at your feet were like crunched in, and you really painted the picture for us like how it feels, and like the importance of really listening to that because it's our first signal. And I loved um yeah, you asked about like prices you're paying, and then also listening from the lens of the emotion. What is the emotion trying to express right now? Not what the words are saying, not what the attitude or the behaviors is actually expressing, but like what is underneath all of that? What is, and then like what is in the gap? What's missing in this moment is understanding and is
Hmm.
like intently listening, first of all, because how many times when my kids start screaming, I'm just like, "Ah, I want to hear it. I don't want to hear it," because it like gets me all going. So like when, especially as a parent or someone in a relationship, when you can really just ground yourself and pause long enough to understand them, they feel seen and heard. And I
Yes.
think we all want to be seen and heard in the world, in our truth
And
and in our messiness.
yes, absolutely. And when you see someone, not only your kids or your partner, when you give this opportunity to be seen and heard to anyone, they are really grateful. They're really grateful for you being that for them. That's when they are going to choose you in their life. There are two types of choice, like there are two types of choice in life, like a reflex choice and a conscious choice. I always want to be a conscious choice of anyone, everyone, and everyone around me, be it my client, my family, my kids, my husband. I don't want to be their reflex choice. I want their to be their conscious choice. They get to choose me consciously because, hey, this is the person who's going to listen to me. This is the person whom I can go and ask for support. This is the person who
I
is
could be
always
vulnerable
present
with.
for. Yes, I can
Yeah.
open up
And that's
with,
so
you
important.
know. Yes, that's
I
very
want to ask
important.
all those people listening out there, do you have that safety net? Do you have like that small intimate group of people that you can just be who sees you and understands you and doesn't judge you? Because I think it's so important to have that in our lives,
Yeah.
whether it's a friend, a cousin, a mentor, a coach, a therapist. Like I think it's so important for us to be seen and heard in our truth. So
Yeah.
I know I'm wrapping up this call. And I just wanted to again thank you so much for your beautiful wisdom and your words and your and showing up powerful and honest and vulnerable. So I want to
Thank you.
ask you out there listening in the world, what are you not here to prove? You are not here to prove your worth, okay? So let's just get that straight. You're here to live from it.
Yeah.
So what
Yes.
does one small loving boundary for you look like just this week? Maybe just today, maybe just in this 1 hour. Because each moment there's an opportunity for you to choose, not from perfection, but from like a better than lens. So
Yes.
if this conversation sparked something within you, perhaps you felt seen, heard, or not alone, I'd ask for you to please share it with someone who needs that reminder that she is not alone, that healing is also available for her. Because when one woman remembers, it gives another woman permission to do the same. So keep
Yes,
rising,
absolutely.
sisters. Keep coming home to you because you matter. You're enough, exactly as you are.
Absolutely.
I am your soul sis,
Absolutely.
Margarita Rose, here with my other soul sis, Filza Jabin, here on the Coming Home to You Sparkcast. We'll see you next week, same time, same Soul Spark channel. Remember, be
Bye
kind to
bye.
yourself and others.
Bye bye. Thank you, Margarita, for having me
Bye.
here.
Thank you.
Bye.